Have you ever looked at the whirlwind around you and thought, when did the world start speaking a language I barely recognize? After 67, familiar routines can feel oddly complicated, and simple pleasures sometimes get buried beneath rules that never existed before. Yet inside that confusion lies an opportunity, a chance to laugh at nonsense, reclaim what matters, and reshape life on your own gentle terms. Stay with this guide, and you'll uncover 11 modern puzzles that just don't add up anymore. The cult of constant busyness. Society often claps loudest for overcrowded agendas, as if a life's only valuable when it races. After 67, that drumbeat can feel less inspiring than exhausting. You already carried families, projects, and late-night worries over many seasons. Now advertisements still coax you to monetize hobbies, conquer fun runs, or post daily achievements. Remember, purposeful activity and relentless hustle are not twins. A retired nurse once filled every free hour with board meetings until her pulse thudded louder than applause. One dawn, she noticed morning light streaming across an unrushed breakfast table and realized peace had been waiting all along. If similar pressure creeps into your calendar, consider granting an empty square the same respect given to a doctor's visit. Sit with morning tea until the steam fades. Notice sparrows practicing solo concerts where commuter horns once dominated. When thoughts ask, shouldn't you be doing more? Answer gently, rest is also doing. Use free time to phone an old classmate, organize photographs, or simply breathe without a stopwatch. Productivity served you well in earlier chapters, yet wisdom now invites pacing that honors bone and spirit alike. By choosing quality over quantity, you reclaim energy for joys that never made to-do lists. Watching dusk settle, tasting soup slowly, tracing the curve of the moon across the velvet sky. Busyness may impress strangers online, but balance nourishes the heart you live with every day. Imagine your life as a scored waltz rather than a drum solo. Each measured pause lets you hear a melody you once danced past. Releasing compulsive busyness isn't surrender. It is a courageous edit, trimming tangent notes so the main theme glides forward. When friends brag about weekend chaos, smile and trust your tempo. Your serenity becomes quiet proof that living well surpasses merely living fast. Endless paperwork for simple needs. Remember when a bank deposit meant greeting a teller who knew your children's names? Today, a modest request can unleash a blizzard of forms, passwords, and confirmation codes. The process feels like balancing teacups atop a ladder nobody asks you to climb. One widower spent an entire Tuesday printing account statements just to verify his money already. By dusk, his eyes burned and supper went cold. Bureaucracy seems to assume every citizen owns spare hours and flawless eyesight. If cascading paperwork drains your spirit, try breaking the mountain into foothills. Set a kitchen timer for 20 minutes, tackle one packet, then stretch your legs and sip water. Small intervals prevent frustration from crystallizing. Use brightly colored folders labeled medical, utilities, and important numbers, so documents find their homes quickly rather than hiding in drawers. Consider investing in a simple scanner or an app that photographs pages and stores them in neat digital albums. That way, vital information travels with you on a single lightweight device instead of 3 sagging binders. Community centers often host volunteers eager to sit beside you and translate dense jargon into plain sentences. Accepting help is not weakness, it's a savvy partnership. Jot down step-by-step instructions while guidance is fresh and tape the notes inside a cabinet door. In the future, you will thank the present you for the cheat sheet. Above all, remember the frustration lies with the maze, not the traveler. Each time you untangle a cryptic clause or locate an elusive signature line, you prove that years of problem-solving haven't lost their edge. They've simply shifted arenas. Bureaucracy may expand, yet so does your quiet capacity to navigate it with grace, patience, and the deepest kind of competence. Let papers shuffle, but let your steadfast calm remain unmoved. Technology that expects a degree. Smartphones promise easy connection, yet often behave like puzzle boxes guarded by riddles. One blinking update can rearrange every button, and suddenly calling a grandson feels harder than dialing the moon. A grandfather who had once fixed aircraft engines found himself defeated by a swipe-up gesture nobody could adequately explain. He eventually traded his sleek slab for a senior-friendly tablet with one silver button labeled Family. His laugh on the first effortless video chat sounded like windows flung open to summer air. When screens intimidate, treat them as tools, not verdicts on intelligence. First, customize. In large text, disable unnecessary notifications, and pin only essential apps to the home page. Deleting clutter is the digital equivalent of clearing a hall closet. Fresh breathing room appears. Second, schedule a weekly technology tea. Brew chamomile, sit with a helpful neighbor or library tutor, and explore one new function at a gentle pace. Write discoveries in a notebook, complete with doodled arrows. Handwritten diagrams last longer than fleeting memory. Third, keep a small box of backup solutions, a charging cable in every room, written passwords stored in a discreet lockbox, and printed phone numbers in case batteries rebel. Preparing for hiccups removes their power. Most of all, remember the skills you honed long before microchips: patience, problem-solving, and the courage to ask questions. If a device scolds with unfamiliar error messages, breathe and recall the era you navigated paper maps through unmarked highways. You adapted then, you will adapt now. Technology may flaunt complexity, but your decades-trained curiosity remains the strongest operating system around, ready to reboot any confusion into confident know-how. Celebrate each small victory: a text sent without typos, a photo saved correctly, a scam email swiftly deleted. Stack such moments like shining tiles until the mosaic spells out mastery quietly in your unique style. A house that echoes too loudly. Hallways once alive with children's footsteps now ring with the hush of the refrigerator and the soft tick of the mantel clock. Some evenings the quiet feels soothing, like a gentle quilt. On others, it stretches into a canyon between memory and breath. One widow polished her grown son's trophies every Saturday, convinced the chore kept him close, until she caught herself saying goodnight to an empty corridor. That moment nudged her to imagine living spaces that matched the life she has today, rather than the bustling household of yesterday. Downsizing does not discard the past, it illuminates it. Begin by wandering room to room with a small notebook. On one page, list items that spark daily joy: the teapot that sings at dawn, the quilt stitched by a grandmother, the black and white wedding photo. On the next, write pieces that only gather dust: duplicate end tables, unused sports gear, formal china no longer suited to simple lunches. Keep what shimmers with meaning. Allow the rest to begin new stories elsewhere. If selling the family home feels too drastic, explore gentler shifts. Perhaps convert a spare bedroom into an airy art studio, letting canvases and light replace stacked boxes. Invite a college student to rent the basement in exchange for mowing and tablet tutorials. Programs in many cities match older homeowners with vetted companions, weaving safety nets of friendship over shared dinners. Even rearranging furniture, pulling cozy chairs closer to sunny windows, clustering photos into one storytelling wall, shrinks lonely volume without lugging a single box outside. When you do consider a smaller address, a riverside apartment, a garden cottage, a condo steps from a library, imagine freedom measured in hours rather than square footage. Fewer gutters to clear, fewer stairs for cautious knees, lower heating bills, saved maintenance funds turned into train tickets or watercolor classes. Most of all, remember that love is not stored in bricks. The home you carry inside travels everywhere, lined with laughter already lived and hope is still arriving. A right-sized shelter lets shoulders relax, feet wander safely, and heartbeats settle into the calm rhythm of a space intentionally chosen, not automatically inherited. Fashion rules that ignore comfort. Magazine headlines still chant commandments. Hide upper arms after 60. Avoid bright prints. Trade sneakers for rigid loafers at formal events. Such edicts forget that a seasoned body has earned the right to move freely. A neighbor once squeezed into narrow heels for her granddaughter's wedding, smiling through photos and limping for weeks. Months later, she arrived at a family reunion wearing rose gold sneakers dusted with glitter. Conversations centered on her radiant confidence, not the abandonment of so-called elegance. A wardrobe can celebrate dignity and comfort in equal measure. Start by staging a closet audition. Spread garments on the bed and ask, "Does this feel like kindness on my skin?" Keep pieces that answer yes. Soft knits that breathe, cotton that caresses shoulders, bamboo blends that glide over knees. All invite ease. Hang these by activity. Gardening gear, walking club layers, Sunday brunch favorites. Choosing outfits becomes opening a bouquet rather than solving a puzzle. When marketing insists wrinkles must be hidden and seams must pinch to appear age-defying, chuckle and reach for fabrics that respect shifting shapes. Adaptive lines now conceal magnetic closures beneath classic silhouettes, so arthritic fingers meet generosity. Tailors can add gentle darts, lengthen hems, and install discreet stretch panels. Small alterations rescue beloved jackets far better than brand-new discomfort. Color remains a loyal ally. Pastel blues echo calm seas, emerald tops reflect garden leaves, crimson scarves capture twilight's drama. Pair textures as poets pair words. Denim with silk, linen with lace. A gentleman in the park revived his swagger by matching his cane's polished wood to a warm brown fedora. Accessories became conversation starters, not reminders of limitation. If the wardrobe feels crowded with bygone sizes, host a letting go ceremony. Play favorite music, thank each garment for service, and pass it forward to charity shelves where someone else's story will begin. The space created heirs' closets and minds alike. Ultimately, style flourishes at the crossroad of authenticity and ease. Treat every zipper, seam, and shoelace as an invitation to step boldly into each new morning, wearing fabrics that applaud your journey instead of confining it. Ever-shifting medical advice. Eggs fall in and out of favor. Coffee transforms from villain to hero, and one-week headlines scold salt only to praise it the next. These swings can leave a sensible eater bewildered at breakfast. A lifelong farmer once taped newspaper clippings to the fridge, trying to keep pace, until the collage resembled abstract art rather than guidance. Finally, he folded the articles away and listened instead to his trusted doctor and the quiet feedback of his own body. You can adopt that calmer compass. Choose information sources wisely. A physician who knows your history, a registered dietitian who explains in everyday language, or reputable pamphlets from the local clinic. Keep a small food journal noting what energizes and what unsettles. Personal patterns often speak louder than national alerts. Invite friends to swap homegrown recipes focused on flavor rather than fad, turning health into communal joy instead of solitary calculus. Exercise rules shift too. Yesterday, 40-minute jogs, today interval bursts. Consider gentle, consistent movement you enjoy. Tai Chi in the garden, chair yoga with a lively video, or brisk walks timed to favorite songs. Consistency usually beats intensity spikes that strain joints. Remember, stress itself can cloud well-being. When a sensational headline triggers worry, step outside, feel wind on cheeks, and breathe until heartbeat steadies. Health thrives in environments of kindness. By filtering advice through the sieve of personal experience and professional guidance, you transform chaos into clarity. Your body has been your house for many seasons. Trust its whispers more than marketplace shouts. Balanced decisions made at your own pace will always outshine any trend's temporary glare. In short, let science inform, but let lived wisdom lead. Crafting a gentle partnership where data bows gracefully to the daily realities your seasoned instincts narrate calmly. Financial fine print everywhere. A single bank statement can read like a secret code. ATM fees hidden beside tiny asterisks, subscriptions you hardly recall, percentages applied after promotional sunsets. On a fixed income, such stealthy nibbles matter. One retired engineer discovered 4 separate streaming services charging quietly each month because free trials expired while he was traveling. Rather than sink into frustration, he scheduled what he called tea with the bills every first Monday morning. Teapot, highlighter, magnifying glass, and a patient playlist turned scrutiny into stewardship. Design a similar ritual in 3 calm steps. First, gather every financial document, paper or digital, in a labeled accordion folder. Sort by category: utilities, insurance, entertainment, medical, charitable gifts. Second, review statements line by line. When you spot a mystery charge, phone the company immediately. Have a notebook ready to record dates, names, reference numbers, and promised resolutions. Third, create a watch list of auto-pay items. If a service doesn't offer genuine value next month, place a polite cancellation call before another cycle renews. Community banks or credit unions often provide staff who explain products in plain English and recognize you by name. Ask about senior-friendly checking, no-fee overdraft cushions, or automatic bill pay portals with large print dashboards. If marketing mailers promise miraculous returns, remember the golden adage: if it sounds too good, let it float past like a drifting cloud. Legitimate advisors are registered, transparent, and eager to answer each silly question, because none are truly silly where your livelihood is concerned. Safeguard essentials by storing wills, insurance policies, and property deeds in a fire-resistant box, with duplicates held by a trusted relative or lawyer. Request free credit reports twice a year to confirm no phantom accounts lurk under your name. Post the national "Do Not Call" number near the phone to block predatory sales pitches before they start. Each time you defend your resources, you honor decades of diligent labor. Sunrise commutes, birthday overtime, small sacrifices etched into every dollar. Let steady persistence remind corporations that experience wields authority impossible to ignore. Money may appear as digits on a screen, yet behind those digits stands your story, and that story deserves vigilant respect. A world that never sleeps. Streetlights glare brighter, phones chirp through twilight, delivery trucks rumble at dawn. Constant motion can unsettle even peaceful hearts. One gentleman cherished stargazing from his porch until a new 24-hour supermarket flooded the night sky with neon. Instead of surrendering the ritual, he placed potted bamboo as a living screen and used a sky tracking app to schedule observations during power-saving dim periods. Adaptation restored serenity without costing a cent. To tame modern noise, establish multi-layered boundaries. Evening routine. Choose a consistent tech curfew for devices, then let low-wattage lamps cast amber glows that whisper, rest. Reading poetry, journaling 3 small gratitudes, or massaging lavender oil onto temples cues the brain toward slumber. If traffic invades dreams, experiment with white noise machines. Ocean waves, rain on leaves, a distant campfire crackling. Soft silicone earplugs muffle engines without discomfort, and blackout curtains teach streetlights to mind their manners. Daytime strategy. Grocery aisles pump pop songs. Cafes blast overlapping televisions. Carry lightweight headphones streaming gentle instrumentals, transforming errands into roaming sanctuaries. Seek libraries' quiet rooms, botanical gardens' shaded benches, or church courtyards open to the public at lunch. Many municipalities post sound maps online, marking times when parks observe silence for wildlife. Plan walks accordingly. When overstimulation looms, practice the 3-breath reset. Inhale slowly for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6, and repeat twice more. This micro-pause lowers heart rate, reminds the nervous system that safety persists and costs nothing. Cultivate community solutions. Propose quiet hours to neighbors for lawn equipment, or swap bulky electric leaf blowers for simple rakes worked in friendly tandem. Share strategies. One neighbor may lend an unused blackout shade while another trades homemade chamomile sachets. Collective creativity turns individual coping into neighborhood resilience. Protecting tranquility is not escapism. It is stewardship of mental health. Each intentional hush you create sends a gentle message to younger generations. Stillness carries value, and elder wisdom knows how to cultivate it. By shaping your personal soundscape, bedroom sanctuary, garden nook, or calm mindset, you prove peace can thrive even at a restless age. Restaurant portions shrink, while prices grow. You slide into a favorite booth craving the hearty stew once served steaming over the rim, only to receive a dainty ladleful perched at bowl's center and a bill that could fund groceries for days. Inflation may be inevitable, but mismatched value feels personal. A couple married 50 years reframed outings as culinary adventures. They shared entrees, requested extra bread, and graded eateries on warmth of service instead of plate size. Laughter replaced disappointment, and memories seasoned every bite. Adopt similar ingenuity. Before ordering, ask servers about senior menus, half portions, or weekday community tables that bundle courses at friendlier rates. Many kitchens honor off-menu requests when approached kindly. Extra vegetables instead of costly sides, soup refills, or dividing dessert for two. Keep a reusable container in your bag. Tomorrow's lunch travels home free and extends the pleasure. Rotate destinations to avoid paying premium prices for fading novelty. Try farmers' market cafes, ethnic delis with abundant stews, or church halls hosting community suppers for donation only. At home, invite friends to themed potlucks, soups of childhood, recipes from travel, or 3 ingredients or less. Conversation seasons simple dishes, and everyone saves money. If cooking for one feels daunting, experiment with slow cookers that turn lentils, barley, and garden vegetables into fragrant meals portioned and frozen for later ease. A windowsill herb garden, parsley, basil, mint, adds gourmet aroma to humble fare without stretching the budget. Savor food with mindfulness. Inhale aroma before first bite. Let textures linger. Narrate a dish's backstory even when eating solo. Such presence stretches satisfaction, making modest servings feel abundant. Keep a dining journal noting cafes with generous soup refills, markets that discount produce near closing, and family recipes reborn in single-serve ramekins. Over months, you'll craft an atlas of fair-priced flavor, proving that creativity, not extravagance, is the key ingredient in a nourishing life. Finally, resist shame when budgets guide choices. Financial prudence mirrors self-respect, not stinginess. Steering spending toward experiences that merit cost. Open-air concerts, museum days, riverfront picnics. Convert saved restaurant dollars into memories richer than any oversized dessert could ever offer. Social media without real voices. Scrolling a bright screen can feel like wandering a carnival where everyone shouts but nobody hears. Posts flash victories, arguments, perfect vacations. Yet few contain the warmth of a shared pause. A retired postal worker replaced nightly scrolling with 2 phone calls, one to a cousin across the province, one to a neighbor recovering from surgery. Conversation deepened, loneliness lifted, and headaches dwindled. Set gentle boundaries in 3 tiers. Time. Limit daily social media windows, perhaps 30 cheerful minutes after breakfast. Use device settings to remind you when playtime ends. Content. Curate feeds with intention. Unfollow outrage bait accounts. Instead, subscribe to classical music clips, watercolor tutorials, or pages featuring sunrise photography. Purpose. Before opening an app, ask, "What am I hoping to feel afterward?" If the answer is unclear, choose a different activity that guarantees that feeling, Maybe leafing through a travel memoir or tending balcony flowers. Trade digital minutes for tangible outreach. Slip handwritten notes under a friend's door. Mail picture postcards to grandchildren, or host backyard gatherings where stories travel on candlelight rather than Wi-Fi. Local libraries often run hobby circles, knitting, chess, memoir writing, providing face-to-face fellowship no emoji can rival. When distance demands screens, shape technology to serve calm. Schedule recurring video teas at predictable hours. Rituals reduce coordination stress and let anticipation bloom. Explore do not disturb settings so late-night pings respect sleep. Use built-in accessibility features, larger fonts, high-contrast themes that spare eyesight without fuss. Most importantly, remember your voice carries timbre decades in the making, a richness algorithms cannot imitate. Each real conversation reinforces language, memory, empathy muscle. Leave devices occasionally blank so spoken words, eye contact, and comfortable silences can weave the sturdy fabric of authentic connection. Keep a gratitude list beside the computer. Jot one uplifting discovery per session, a vintage jazz riff, a recipe recalling childhood flavors. Mindful bookmarking turns scrolling into treasure hunting. By anchoring technology on purpose and pairing it with face-to-face warmth, you cultivate connections that glows long after screens dim. Let digital sparks guide you toward real human light. The myth that dreams expire after 67. Perhaps the greatest nonsense whispered by hurried cultures is that ambition carries an expiration date. History chuckles at that idea. Painters have debuted galleries at 80. Gardeners have launched community orchards at 90. Scholars have mastered new languages while hair turned silver. Your imagination never retired. It merely awaits invitation. Begin by listing 3 interests sparking curiosity: sketching landscapes, planting native wildflowers, or decoding family genealogy. Circle the one that makes your heart thump gentlest yet firmest. Break it into first steps no larger than a teacup. Watch an introductory video, borrow a beginner's guide, or phone a local club for schedules. Small, consistent motion builds momentum without overwhelming muscles or calendars. Older brains retain lively plasticity. Neural pathways light up joyfully when challenged thoughtfully. Doubt may whisper, but picture grandmothers who finished university degrees from living room laptops or veterans who choreographed dance recitals for grandchildren. Each success story began with a question, not an age. Build a supportive web. Tell a friend, I practiced 3 guitar chords today, transforming a private spark into communal glow. Neighbors might lend sheet music. Great-grandchildren may film your first serenade. Celebrate incremental wins, a correctly pruned rose bush, a complete sentence in Spanish. Just as athletes celebrate laps, not only finish lines. Structure sustains enthusiasm. Create a dream calendar, reserving 2 morning slots weekly for your project. Place tools, sketchbook, seed packets, phrasebook, where you'll see them at sunrise. Track progress with dated photos or journal entries. Visible growth fertilizes motivation. View time as an ally, not a thief. Years have distilled patience, discipline, and storytelling, qualities rookie dreamers still seek. Whatever you pursue, savor the process itself. The scent of fresh soil on gloved hands, the thrill of translating a sentence correctly, the vibration of nylon strings against steady fingers. Dreams do not diminish, they refine, waiting until wisdom is ready to guide them home. Believe this, the sunrise you greet cares nothing for birth years. It brightens anyone bold enough to stand beneath its promise and declare, there is more to create. Life after 67 can resemble a beloved garden that someone rearranged overnight. Yet every unexpected turn holds blossoms. Only seasoned hands can coax into color. Patience, wit, and courage forged across decades. The 11 puzzles explored: busyness, paperwork, gadgets, vast rooms, rigid fashion, shifting advice, hidden fees, endless noise, shrinking meals, digital chatter, and sideline dreams are real, but none are masters of your fate. You decide which deserves attention and which merits a kindly chuckle. Carry forward the small practices discussed. blank spaces on calendars, color-coded folders, technology tea, mindful wardrobes, gratitude lists, and courage to chase fresh ambitions. Share them with a friend who might need the same calm reassurance tonight. Your story remains beautifully unfinished, pages still warm beneath eager fingertips. Keep writing in bright ink, and let tomorrow's sunrise catch you smiling at its endless promise.